I recently uploaded a video where I talked about AI optimization, which is your AEO, GEO, and things like that. And a part of that strategy is also to make your content work for AI, make it easier for AI to understand. So today in this video, I'm going to show you a workflow which works on creating content blogs for your website, which are also optimized for AI. There are 4 components to this workflow. First, we have to pick the keywords. Then we research those keywords, whatever is happening in the world around those keywords using some AI nodes like Perplexity. After that, we are going to write a blog and then we will optimize that blog for SEO, make it SEO friendly. After that, we are also going to make it AI friendly by adding markup structures like JSON-LD. And not just that, we are also going to use Nano Banana to generate images for the blog. So this is the overall workflow. As you can see, there are 2 steps to it. Step 1 is about researching the keyword, writing the blog, optimizing it for SEO, make it SEO friendly and also AI friendly, and then put that in a Google Sheet. And then we are going to create a folder in Google Drive, and in that Google Drive we are going to upload images from Nano Banana. For Nano Banana, we have another agent which is going to generate prompts which are relevant to the sections of the blog that we are writing. So I'm going to show you every single node that we have used here, what I put in there, my thought process, and how you can make the best out of it. At any point you think that you have a better solution, because we are all learning, just leave that in the comments and it will help. We'll try that as well, and maybe you have a better solution. So before we get into the workflow, I already did a couple of test runs. So what happens here is that I have, first of all, a Google Sheet where I have the top searched keywords that I picked from SEMrush, from their magic keyword search tool. And we are writing this blog for a company which is into eco-friendly packaging. So what happens here is, it's just an example of 6 keywords here right now. You can add more keywords as per whatever your requirement is. Reduce the list, expand the list, do whatever you want, but it's just an example of 6. Out of those, I tested it on 2. So what happens is that in column B, we are giving the user an option to approve the keyword to write the blog. So if you select on yes or pending, so pending is by default, but when you click on yes, the workflow it runs. And once it is done with writing the blog and generating images, it just says blog created. And also it will put a creation date. And when it comes to the blogs, as you can see that we have keyword, creation date, blog title, a very SEO friendly title. Then we have meta tag, introduction, section 1 to section 3. So 3 sections along with introduction and a conclusion. You can optimize it as you want. You can rework it. You can create different sections, you can reduce the sections or maybe add more sections, up to you. You can play around with it. And then we also have a JSON-LD tag that gets added at the end, which you can implement on your website. When it comes to Nano Banana, we are generating images using the prompts which are relevant to the particular section. So as you can see, we have intro image, section 1 image, section 2 image, and section 3 image. We don't need an image for conclusion. Similarly, I did another run for the second sustainable packaging examples, and you can see the images are all about different type of packaging that you can use, that you can put into different sections, which is your intro, section 1, section 2, and section 3. They're looking amazing. Actually, I like it. There's always some scope for improvement, and it's working as how I expected it to work. It's put a logo in there. As you can see, this EcoPack Solution UK, the hypothetical company that we are working on, and I gave it a random logo from this website called Pixabay. This is a free logo. I just use this URL, and AI is going to fetch the logo from the URL and put them into all the images that we have here. These images are also getting stored in their individual folders, which are also getting created automatically based on the keyword. Within the folders, we have all the images that you can use. Talking about the workflow, right now I'm using a manual trigger, but you can get this triggered by, as soon as you approve the blog, you can click yes here, and as soon as you do that, it will get triggered. So what happens here is it will check for new keywords, which is the keyword which has been approved, then a research agent which is going to look into the keyword and then research that keyword by using Perplexity node, and its job is to just research the topic and give some feedback, some input, some instructions to the blog writer agent, which is the second agent. And the blog writer agent is just going to write the blog. Its job is not to optimize the blog for SEO. That is the job of the third agent, which is going to optimize it for SEO because it has the keywords and the portions of the blog. After that, we are going to save that in Google Sheet, create the folder so that we can use it to also upload the images. And after doing that, at least our text content is done. After that, we move on to step 2, which is image generation. How we go about image generation is that first of all, we have this HTTP request node, which is basically this link, the link to the image that we have here, which is coming from Pixabay website. As you can see, pixabay.com, photo and the ID. So we are going to download that image, convert it to a base 64 string. Then we are going to give it to AI agent to create 4 prompts for image generation using Nano Banana. So its job is to create intro, section 1, section 2, section 3 and their prompts. After that, we are going to give it to Nano Banana using Open Router API. We are not using Gemini API because there were some issues I faced while I was using Gemini API. I'll explain it later. So once it's done with generating those 4 images, we are using a code node to just clean up the data. We upload the file into Google Drive, the images in the file. After that, we are also going to put those images in the Google Sheet we just created. So right next to the blogs, we have those images, and those images are coming from the Google Drive where we have saved those. So this is the overall workflow, and we are going to look into each and every node as if that you are creating it from scratch. So what we are going to do is that we already have 2 keywords where we have selected yes, so it's already created blogs for those 2. We are going to use one more keyword. So for example, eco packaging suppliers. Let's do this one because others, they look very similar to each other. So I'm just going to click yes, write SEO blog, yes, and then we go here and then we are going to click on execute. And because we are going to explain every single node one at a time, so we have an option to click play from here, but we are going to look inside the node while it executes. So we have mapped everything here. What's happening here is that I have connected my Google Sheets account. There is a video that I did on how to link your Google account, your Google Cloud account to these workflows. So you can watch it if you haven't. After that, we are going to run an get rows operation, which is to find rows within a sheet within a document. And from the document, we already have this document called AI-optimized SEO content generator. This is the name of the Google Sheet that we created that I was showing to you earlier. And within that sheet, we have a tab called content control. This is where we are getting yes from, right? SEO blog value is yes, and the column blog created should be no, because the thing is that you can see it is yes here in column B, but in column D blog created it's no. If I don't select this, it will create blogs for all 3 of them because it's yes, 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 and block created also yes, yes. So I'm going to exclude anything which is yes inside column D. So we found that one keyword, we pressed yes again, which is eco packaging suppliers. So we have one item. I'll just keep pinning these nodes as they run so that in case we have to run it again, we don't have a problem and we don't waste a lot of tokens or API calls. So once I have found the keyword, we move on to the research agent. What happens with the research agent is that I created this AI agent. In this AI agent, the message, user message is basically this, where is it? Keyword, JSON.keyword, which is coming from it. You can just click and drag it here. It's as simple as that. As soon as you do it, it will highlight that it's eco packaging suppliers. Within that, we have a system message. The system message says that you are a research scout, a focused research agent. I'm going to paste this system message in a Google Docs, which I'll link in the description of this video or in the first comment. So check it out there if you, in case you are unable to read this system instruction. So you are a research scout. Your mission is to investigate a given keyword. Do not write a blog. Do not pad with filler. tools you can use. You have access to Perplexity tool and also Think tool. These are the tools that you can use, and there are rules, which is basically telling it do not write the blog. Your job is not to write the blog. Your job is just to research the keyword. So research the keyword, then you have this output format that we need, which is definition, context, UK market, because this keyword is coming from a hypothetical company which is based out of the UK. So we have that, and the themes, theme 1, theme 2, theme 3, benefits and opportunities, challenges and pitfalls, FAQs, common questions, and things like that. So these are the output that we need from this particular agent. So I'm just going to press execute on this particular agent. In terms of the models, I'll just quickly touch base on that as well. I have given it access to OpenAI 4.1 and a sampling temperature of 0.5. To know more about sampling temperature, again, I did a video explaining why these temperatures are important and how it controls the creativity level of LLM. After that, I also gave it access to Perplexity, which is just you click on tool here and look for Perplexity tool. Once you link this Perplexity tool, what you can do is just use the Perplexity account that you have, or you can create your new credentials by adding the API key from your Perplexity account. It's very straightforward. I have covered that again in other videos, so you go check it out. There is a whole tutorial on how to do that. Messenger model is the operation here, and model we are using is Sonar. The message, let the AI agent, the research agent, define what it wants to ask Perplexity. So once that, and I also have a fallback model in case OpenAI doesn't work. So within the fallback model, I'm using OpenRouter so that I can use Anthropic Cloud 3.5 Haiku. So it works only if OpenAI chat model fails. So yeah, this is what is with the research agent. Let's just execute again and see. Alright, so we have the output here. You can see it took good 28,000 milliseconds. So it was a lot of research that it did for this whole content, and it's a lot of information. I think this is what we need to give to our SEO writer as well. So if you have a human SEO content writer, that person will also need this kind of information before it can start writing things about eco-packaging suppliers, for example. So this is the output. We are going to pin this one as well, and then once the output is there, we are going to move on to the blog writer agent, because this blog writer is going to write the blog. In this agent, unlike OpenAI, I am going to use Google Gemini, and within Gemini it's Gemini 2.5 Flash, and I'm keeping this temperature at 0.4 because I do not want it to get too creative with the content. So let's look inside the AI agent. Inside the AI agent, again, the source of the prompt is this output from the research agent. You just drag it and put it here, and if you just click on this one, it will show you the whole prompt, which is the research that you received from Perplexity from the previous note. When it comes to the system message, where you tell the agent what to do, you tell it you are a blog writer now. An AI agent is specialized in transforming structured research briefs into engaging, reader-friendly blog posts. You will find this whole prompt in the document that I will share. And it has access to tools, which is the Think tool. Only the Think tool that it can use. It's optional if it needs to do some additional thinking. When it comes to the rules, use the research brief exactly as input. So what we are telling it, that do not assume things, do not add information which does not exist in the research. So everything stays relevant to the research. And then we are also telling it that is structured into 4-5 clear sections: flow, intro, main sections, conclusion. Avoid keyword stuffing, and also do not worry about SEO and things like that. Minimum 1000 characters. And in the end, we also have an example, that this is the example, a sample of what we expect this AI agent to produce, which is introduction, a few sections, and a conclusion in the end. So this is my system instructions. And I also gave it access to Think tool. This is nothing more than some additional memory that AI agent can use to think when it needs to. So let's just execute this one as well and see if it can create that SEO friendly. Sorry, it's not SEO friendly yet. It's just a blog for now. So this is the blog it just produced. Like we told it, it should be at least 1,000 characters. I like Gemini for blog creation over OpenAI because for some reason Gemini is better at content than OpenAI. Cloud I haven't used for content creation. First of all, it's expensive. And second, that I have access to some free credits of Gemini, so I just keep using Gemini. So in any case, so yeah, this is the blog that we have. We are just going to pin it so that we have this output ready for the next one. You don't have to pin it every time you run it. Only during the test. I suggest that you keep pinning it, because in case you have to rerun it, you will consume a lot of tokens. But if you have pinned it, then it will just stick to the output it has already produced. So that's the only reason I'm pinning it, because it's just a test flow. Once we go into production, we don't have to we don't have to pin anything. So the next agent, which is receiving the blog from blog writer, is SEO Optimizer Agent. And now within the SEO Optimizer Agent, we have just dragged this tool point here to the think node. So it's using the common think. Same with the chat model. I'm using the same Google Gemini chat model. So what you can do is just drag this point and link it to Google Gemini chat, the one node, or you can create a different node. It doesn't really matter. I like keeping things clean, so I use one node. If it can be shared across many, it's absolutely fine. I'll talk about output parser, structured output parser in a bit, but let's look under the hood of SEO Optimizer Agent first. So inside this SEO Optimizer Agent, we have this user prompt where we are giving it the output from previous node as input. So if we look inside, the prompt says, hello, please optimize the blog for SEO for this keyword. And the keyword is coming from the sheet that we used earlier. And then we are telling it the brand is EcoPack Solutions UK and the market is also UK. And when it comes to the systems prompt, we are telling it you are a SEO optimizer, an AI agent that improves a blog post for the brand. And when it comes to the blog post, we have given it the whole blog here, which is coming from the previous node, and your job is to take the blog draft, optimize it, avoid keyword stuffing and things like that. What's interesting here is that we are also asking it to do two things, which is one, also provide meta field, which is the meta description of the blog under 160 characters, and also a markup field, which is your JSON-LD structured data markup, so that we can implement that and it becomes AI friendly. And in terms of output, we are asking for valid JSON, and we have a structure, a sample structure that we have provided, which is title, meta, introduction, section 1, 2, 3, conclusion, and a markup, which is the JSON-LD markup. Now, there is one thing that I've done, which is I told it that I need the output in a specific format. Why? Because I want those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 JSON items. If I don't get those 8 JSON items, it will be hard for me to put those items individually across the 8 columns that I have created. The Google Sheet that we were using in the blogs, we have these different columns, which is your introduction, section 1, 2, 3. These are 8 columns, so I need those 8 JSON items. To do that, I selected require specific output format, and after that I added this structured output parser. This node will be available only if you enable the require specific output format. So you click on it. What happens here is that you need to give it a JSON example, because it needs to know what exactly you are expecting it to produce. So title, the future of sustainable packaging in UK for small business, for example, one title I give. So you have to give it multiple examples, including your markup, that what kind of markup, the JSON-LD structured data that you want here, right? So now we have everything in place. Let's just execute and see what happens. All right, now you can see that we have now different JSON outcomes here, outputs here, which is your title, meta, introduction, section 1, section 2, section 3, conclusion, and the JSON-LD markup. So this is important because we need this information to be uploaded into the Google Sheet. So I'm going to pin this one as well, and we move on to the next step, which is uploading data in the Google Sheet. So moving on to append or update row, what you have to do is after that add this Google Sheet node, and the function that you're calling is append or update row, because you may have an existing row which has some data and you want to add additional data to the same row. Then you just use this particular operation from the document AI-optimized SEO content generator, but from the blogs tab, because content control was all about content. Blogs is where we are storing all of our blogs. We already have 2 blogs in place. Let me just reduce the size here so that we can all see. So we have 2 blogs right now with images. We just are going to insert the 3rd blog here. After that, what you have to do is map each column manually, and you have to drag each and every JSON output, map it against the column that you created inside the Google Sheet. So for example, blog title, this is where you pull this title and put it here. When it comes to keyword, you pull the keyword which was in Google Sheets that you fetch from Google Sheet, this one, you pull it there. After that, yes, you have to do exactly the same for all of them except the creation date. In the creation date, I'm going to set a time zone and also a format which is not coming from the previous node. To show you what's in here, I'm going to expand it. As you can see, we are now giving it a simple JSON code which is setting the zone, which is Europe London's, locale, which is ENGB, and also the format, which is your date, month and year. So that once we do it, it will put this exact date in column B. So once you have mapped everything after pulling it from here and dragging and dropping everything in their respective fields, we just have to press execute and see what happens next. Alright, so it shows that it has inserted everything in the respective columns. Let's just go back and see, yes, we have the 3rd one here now, which is eco packaging suppliers, title, meta tag, introduction, section 1, section 2, section 3, conclusion, and also a JSON-LD. The images are pending, which we'll do soon. So after going back to the n8n, what we have to do is, once this is done, let me just pin it as well. We have to update the tab again. So for example, the content control, we have to update this tab as well, because now the blog is created and all we have to do is just update this to yes and blog creation date to be for today. So let's just press this one. What's happening here is simple as the same as the last node, but we are just inserting these 2 fields, which is block created as yes, simple string, simple text, and the creation date exactly like the previous node, the one that we did earlier. You just copy paste it here, the whole JSON format. So we execute this one and see. Alright, so it shows it's done. Let's go back and see. Yes, okay. So it's changed eco packaging suppliers block created yes on 29th of September 2025. So we are going to pin it again. There are 2 ways you can do it. One is either you click on this button here or you just press P. And if I go back, select this and press P, it gets pinned. Now the next step is to create a folder inside of Google Drive, because here, as you can see, we have a folder called Nano Banana SEO images. Inside that we have 2 folders for the 2 blogs we already created. Now we are ready with the 3rd one, so it will create this folder again based on the keyword that we are using right now. So what's happening here is we created a node folder, operation is create, and the folder name is coming from the last node. In the last node we have a keyword here, so this keyword we have to just pull, drag and put it here in the folder name section. Right, it's just the same, eco packaging suppliers. If you can see parent drive, it should be within my drive, and also the folder is Nano Banana SEO images. So we have this master folder which has all the SEO images. Within it we are creating subfolders based on the name of the keyword. So I'm just going to press execute and see. All right, so it produced everything. Now you need to pay attention to something. The ID here, we are going to use it because we now need to figure out where to put those images, and this ID is something we will use it when we upload the images. So the ID is this, the name is eco packaging suppliers, and the MIME type is just a folder. So we go back here. uh, which one was it? Eco packaging supplier. All right, so eco, okay, this should be empty. Yes, eco packaging supplier is empty, the others still have images. So yeah, we have a folder here now. We just need to pin this one as well, because the next time we run it, we don't want it to create another folder, because I'm not putting any check notes right now. So we are done with the first step, which is text content creation. The next step is image generation. So when it comes to image generation, we move on to the next step, which is Google Nano Banana for blog. So you see it's linked from the last step. So it could be a linear step. I just put it one after the other in a step waterfall model so that we can all see what's going on in the overall workflow. So let's just zoom right in and see. All right, so the first step here that I am using is getting that image. So you just pull this node HTTP request, method is get because we are fetching the image. In the URL, you can just give it the URL. So you upload that image anywhere, the logo maybe on their website, till the time it's public, you can just pull it here. So you put the image URL here and nothing else, that's it. And you just execute the step and it will download the image. So as you can see, it already downloaded the image. This is the image that we were using in Pixabay. So this is done. The next step after this is extract from file, because AI works on base 64 strings, so it needs to convert everything to that base 64. So what happens here is you just add this node called extract from file, go to operation, move file to base 64 string. It will be at the bottom of all the options out there. In the input binary field, this file that we are receiving is binary. It's not JSON or text or anything else, but binary. It's an image. So here you can see data. This data should match the data here. So if this field on the left, it says something else like say image, then your input binary field will also say image. In the output field, it will say logo. Whatever output it produces, the name will be logo. So let's just convert this file to base 64. As you can see, it has converted the whole file to base 64. This is how it looks like. And if you give this link, this URL or this text to an AI, it can create an image using this text, because this is the definition of any image for any AI, any LLM. So we are just going to pin it again, because this logo is not going to change. It will stay consistent across all the operations. So one thing that you have to keep in mind is you also have to append the type of image. So what you have to do is that we have to add something in the beginning using edit fields node. You bring in the edit fields, you add data colon image slash png semicolon base 64 comma, and then you drag the logo in here. So as you can see, let me just expand. This data colon image slash png semicolon base 64, it's getting appended at the beginning of this base 64 code. Why? Because we need to define what's the MIME type, which is the image type, what kind of image it's getting from this node. So we are just going to execute. It's a very simple node. So yeah, we have just changed the base 64, appended something in the beginning. Let me just pin it again. So this step is also done. Now the next step is to create the prompts, and you do not want to create the prompts every single time you are trying to generate images. Let AI do that. So how do we build this AI agent which is going to generate the prompts for us? If you look inside the hood, we have this AI agent node, and inside that we are giving it a prompt which is a user message, and this prompt says create prompts for 4 images from these sections, section 1, 2, 3 and introduction. So we are giving it the whole blog as it is, so that it can know what's happening here. All right, and after that we have a systems message, and in the systems message we are telling it what to do with this, what kind of prompt that we need. So I have given it some tools and some guidelines, which is the audience, the brand, what kind of style that I want in the images, what kind of styles that I want from the images, and things like logo. And I'm telling it that the logo will be provided separately because we have already downloaded the logo. Then there are things like avoid text overlays, 2 to 5 sentences long, because it has to be really descriptive, really clear prompt. And then we also gave it best practices around how to create better prompts for Nano Banana. Now, how do you find these best practices? What you have to do is you have to go to Google AI for developers. Inside that, you will find this whole image generation with Gemini, aka Nano Banana. In there, if you go down, you have multiple situational prompts, prompting guides for things like photorealistic images, what kind of prompt and the template that you can use, size illustrations and stickers, what kind of prompts, and so on. It also tells you about logos, for example. If you go towards the bottom, it will also tell you what kind of prompt you can give it to insert a logo on an image. So I use this as the reference to train my AI agent, and you can see exactly like that. As per the instructions from Google, I am giving it some examples as well, which is introduction, purpose, and what's expected from this one. Similarly, for section 1, what's the purpose and what I need, what kind of composition and stuff. So this is just an example that I gave this AI agent so that it can learn from the example. After that, just like the previous node that we had for SEO friendly content optimizer, we are also using a specific output format, which is output parser. Inside this output parser, it's just an example of what introduction should do, what section 1 should do, 2 should do, and 3 should do. So what's expected from these 4 JSON outputs that I'm expecting. Why 4 JSON outputs? Because I'm going to create 4 images. So once it's there, and you can see that it has access to Google Gemini chat model. So I'm just going to execute and see what kind of prompts that we will receive for image generation. Alright, so the prompts are ready. We have introduction, we have section 1, 2, and 3. All 4 of them. So we have received 4 prompts. They look detailed enough, and I'm hoping that these will give us the photorealistic images that we are expecting. So I'm just going to pin this one as well. And then we move out to the next node. In the next node, what we are doing is that this is a split node, because we are receiving these 4 items as an array with an output. So we are going to split them into 4 sections. So if you just use this destination field name, this particular array type, then you can just copy paste it and execute steps. So it just create this output, because now we have 4 items. Earlier, if you notice that it received 1 item, a single output, and inside of that output we had 4 items as array, and now it has split into 4 items. So now what we will do is we are going to link it to Nano Banana and get those images. So how do you get, or how do you access Nano Banana? There are 2 ways to do that. Number 1 is the more easier one, which is, where did it go? Let me just zoom out a little bit. I left the node somewhere here. Okay, so the image generator AI agent that I created as my first test. This image generator AI agent, it has a simple job, which is to use this Google Gemini node, which had access to Gemini 2.5 flash image preview. This is the Nano Banana model that we have within Gemini. If you connect your n8n to Google Cloud, you will also get access to Gemini. All you have to do is just enable Gemini from within Google Cloud. And once you do that, you will get access to all the models. So the problem that I was facing is that you can see I was giving it 2 things. One was the prompt itself and also the logo. But all the images that it was generating, they were, I would say, not using the logo at all. So for some reason it was hallucinating the whole thing. It was not able to get the logo and put it on top of the image. So that was my biggest problem with using this Gemini node. If you have a way around, if you have a solution which I missed somehow, drop it in a comment and we are going to use it that way. But the way I know it worked was by using an API, direct API using OpenRouter, because that worked for me. And this is the way that I'm doing it in this workflow, but I would love to hear your thoughts if you have better suggestions. So I'm going back to this one and I'll tell you how to use API to get access to Nano Banana instead of using the Gemini node. So you pull in one HTTPS node, and within the HTTPS node, now you have to pass a few parameters. What you have to do is, it's very straightforward actually, it's not very complicated. First of all, you need to go to Open Router, the website. Inside Open Router, what you have to do is look for all the models which are available. So you click on models and then you try to find Nano Banana, which is this Gemini 2.5 flash image, which is your Nano Banana. Once you click that, it will have a lot of documentation. What you have to do is click on API here. Once you click on API, you will go down and find this option called curl. When you see this code, look at the top right side which says CURL curl. Click on it, and this whole code as it is, you just copy it. Once you copy it, go back to HTTP request, click on this button called import curl CURL, you paste it here. And as soon as you paste it here, these fields, they will be auto populated. Now the one thing that you have to change after you do that is that you'll have to put your key here, because you can see there is bearer. After that, you have to insert your key. As per the example inside the curl, you can already see this particular line which says authorization bearer open router API key. Got it? So how to find this key? You just click on create API key. You will see all the keys that you have already created. Click on create API key button here. Name it whatever you want, and then just click on create. Once you do that, you will see another API just like this, and all you have to do is just copy it before you close that window, because if you don't, then it will just get lost forever. So you copy that key, insert it here as it is, after bearer space key, no parentheses, no colons, nothing, just like that. And that's how you can access Nano Banana using the API. Now inside the JSON send body, because we have to send some instructions as well. The instructions here are, you will find this whole set from the curl that we just used. If you go down the curl, inside the curl you have this argument which is type image URL and all those things, type text, what's an image. So you will receive this particular block of code. You will have to convert this block a little bit to match what you want it to do. So the model here is Google Gemini 2.5 flash. It will stay the same. After that, messages. In the messages, you'll have to change content. Inside content, the text, what prompt you are giving should go in here right in front of text. You just pull this introduction from here, a split out node, and put it inside these double quotations. When it comes to the image URL, you remember we converted the base 64 string in edit field node. You have to pull this image and put it here in the URL inside the double quotations. Got it? It's that simple. All right. And if you're confused at all, just leave a comment and I will respond to you. I'll help you out. So once we are done with this, there is no additional step. All we have to do is just execute. So let's just execute and see what happens. All right, so it produced 4 items you can see here, and it's total 11.6 MB of data. That's a lot of data, but the problem is if you display it, it will slow down your browser. That's what it says. It's just a base 64 string. You remember the base 64 string that we had? Let me just pin it in case we lose it. The base 64 string that we created here, extract from file. Right now it is giving us this string. We have to convert this string to an image, and to do that we have to just add one more step, And this is where you have to play around with code a little bit. So what we have to do is just add a code node right after HTTP request. Inside the code node, the first thing it will do is that it will truncate a little bit of information from the beginning of the URL. You remember we gave it the MIME type, the image / PNG and all those things. We don't need that. In this output, it will be giving us that data. So what it will do, it will get that base 64, convert it to actual images, the PNG images. The second thing it will do is that it will name it as per intro, section 1, section 2 and section 3. So all the images will have different names. If you don't do this, all the images will have the same name. It could be anything like image or file or output, things like that. So that's how Nano Banana outputs the images. It will be the same name. So you just have to put this code to rename everything, right? So once we execute this one, the output that we will receive will be the actual images instead of the code. Alright, so in the output, we have 4 items. If we just click on show data, it will slow down the browser, but I'll show you the images now. So we have 4 files here. The output is data, but now the file name is intro.png, section1.png, section2.png and section3.png. If you look at the images, then this is the first image, this is the second image, this is the third image, and finally the fourth image. Looks good. So this is what is happening here. Now it's converted the base 64 into these 4 files. What I'll do for you is I am going to leave this code for you in the Google Docs that I will share with all the system prompts. But in case you are confused, you can always ask ChatGPT to just rewrite the code if something doesn't work, and it just give this code to ChatGPT, tell it what you are working on, what the problem that you are facing, and it will rewrite the code for you. It's not that complicated. So once we have the 4 items, what we have to do is now we have to upload the file. Upload the file inside Google Drive. Let me just remove this image generator, which I showed it to you earlier. Let's just go back. Okay, so what happens with upload file? In upload file, we are calling this node, the resources file, operation is upload. Input data name field is data, which is coming from the previous node. As you can see, all these files, it has this field called data. So inside this upload file to Drive, we are using data as the field name. Now the file name is coming as intro.png. It's the name of the file that we received in the previous node. We just have to pull and drag it here, or you just write json.filename and it should work that way. Parent drive is my drive. Now the parent folder, you remember I told you about the ID, the IDs that we were getting from the previous node where we created the folder. We are just going to pull that. If you just click on this one, go down to create folder. Here's the ID. You just pull this ID and put it here, the parent folder. So it's going to upload all the images in the folder which has this ID. It's that straightforward. So now I'm going to execute step and see if it gets uploaded in the Google Drive. So while it's working on uploading the images, let's go back to the folder that we created earlier and see. All right, so images are coming through. Intro, this is the image that we saw in the code node as well. This is the first image. Looks okay. Nothing wrong with the fingers, which usually is a problem. The images have the proper logo. You remember the logo that we use? It has the proper logo as well. In the next image, let's see. Again, EcoPack Solutions UK. It has the proper logo and everything. Nothing wrong with the fingers and all. And third image. Okay, that's good. It decided that there's no need to put the brand name here, just the logo, which is a good thing. Actually, thought about it. And finally, this image, which is someone receiving EcoPack Solutions UK's box. Yeah, looks good actually. Intro, section 1, section 2, section 3. So that was image generation. Now we have to also put that into the Google Sheet right next to the block, so that we have one eagle eye view on everything that's going on inside of the blocks, the sheet that we are using as the main database. And now what we are doing here is that we have uploaded the files, and now we have to search for those files and folders we just uploaded, because once we do that, we will get the links, the URLs to those images, and then we are going to put that into Google Sheet, and the Google Sheet will automatically convert those URLs into actual images. So we just find this node, a Google Drive node called search files and folders. Inside that, we are doing a search method, which is search file folder name. Search query is JSON.name, the name which is coming from the previous node, because this is the name that we just gave to all the images. So it will run once for each item. So that way we have intro plus section 1, 2, 3, all of them every time it runs. By folder, again, it's the same ID that we used earlier, so that it can search inside that folder. So we are going to search that folders for ID, and what to search is files. Now what we want after that is that in the output, we want it to return IDs, the file ID. Earlier it was the folder ID. Now we want it to return the file ID. So let's just execute and see what it returns. All right. So it fetched those 4 items, which is the ID of the file. Now we are going to use these IDs to put them into the Google Sheet so that it can convert those IDs into images. And how do we do that? First of all, we have 4 items. So now we need to aggregate. We need to combine those 4 different items into one single output. So once you add this node called aggregate, and you have to aggregate individual fields, what the IDs. Now right now, because we are receiving 4 different items, we don't want 4 different items, we didn't want one single aggregated item. So we are giving it this field name called ID coming from the last node here, and then we execute the node so that it combines everything, aggregates everything into one. Alright, so we have received those 4 fields combined into one item, which is ID, because now we have to create 4 different names of these files as well. So once we have this output, if we can just pin it, we cannot anymore because the images were too heavy. So what we have to do now is give a specific name so that it can know which ID to connect to which columns inside the Google Sheet. So we add this edit fields here. And what happens now is that we are going to give it this equal to image and the link and the ID. Now why I am doing this, I'll tell you why. Inside this blocks, all these images that we have, where did it go? Yeah, all these images that we have, if you see, these are just URLs, because we are using equal to image function inside of Google Sheets to convert these URLs to images. And how it works is that this particular part of this URL, https till ID equal to, is constant. The only thing which is changing is the ID. So all we have to do is so all we have to do is that we keep this first part constant till ID equal to and make the ID dynamic. What does 1 mean? 1 means it will auto fit into the cell size while keeping the aspect ratio. All right, so you can see in all these images, intro image, the ID is different, and then section 1 ID is different. So yes, the only thing which is changing in all these URLs is the ID. So I'm going to just copy this thing till equal to ID, from equal to image till ID equal to, and paste it inside of the edit field. So that's exactly what I've done. Pasted it here, and right after ID equal to, I'm just going to give it ID 0 in the next field, and I'm also giving it this name called into image. It's intro image. In the next field, we are calling it section 1 image, and this time it's ID 1, which is this ID. Section 2 image is ID 2, and section 3 image is ID 3. If you have a better way to do this, let me know. I just mapped everything manually because I wanted to avoid codes as much as possible. So let's just execute it and see. All right, now you can see that the edit field node, it has worked, and now we have 4 URLs. if we insert this URL as it is into the Google Sheet tab, let's just see. Let's just try that once. Like randomly, I'm going to just put this URL in here, enter. Right? No, not here. In this particular cell, Control V. For some reason, it's going to the next cell. Yeah, it's here. So you see, if I drag the cell, it increases, the size increases, it auto adjusts. So that's exactly what's happening with this one that I've given here. There are other options as well where you can keep it stretched and things like that. Let me just delete it for now. So now the next thing that we have to do is just link it Google Sheets so that it can put these images, these URLs in their respective columns. So the final step here is append or update row in sheet 2, which is basically what's happening is this intro image. Okay, I'll show it to you. So again, just like the previous notes where we were putting the content sections into each and every column, now we are going to put images in there. So it's the same steps again. What we are going to do is that we have to put things into the column called intro image by just dragging this and putting it here. So now we have intro image. Similarly, section 1, we just drag the second part, which is section 1 image here, and map them across. So we map that against intro message, section 1, section 2, and section 3, and then we just execute. Alright, so looks like that it inputted everything against this keyword called eco packaging suppliers, and all the images are in their respective cells. So let's just go and check out the Google Sheet. Okay. So yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3. Where's the fourth one? Oh, it just arrived. These are heavy images. Google's Nano Banana, it produces really heavy, high definition images. Sometimes it takes time. So now we have the whole blog, the keyword, creation date, blog title, meta, introduction, section 1, section 2, section 3, conclusion, JSON-LD tag. Then we have intro image, section 2, section 3, and done. So now if I zoom out, so the keyword, the description, the tags and everything, they are SEO friendly and AI friendly both at the same time. Along with it, we also have unique images for each and every block, so you don't have repetitive images anywhere. So till now we have produced 4, 8, and 12 images, all stored inside the folder which is Nano Banana is SEO images, and their respective subfolders based on the keywords that we have. So we have these 4 images we just created inside this folder, and yeah, everything looks ready now. There is nothing wrong. Seems like there's nothing wrong. Here's the thing, but there's always a way you can improve upon things. You can improve upon the tone of your blog, the research method, JSON-LD can be improved upon. So there could be a lot of improvement. So if you have something in your mind that you think can be done better, leave that in comment and we'll make sure that we have a discussion there, because yeah, well, we learn from each other. All right, so this was our whole workflow where we produced the whole thing, and seems like everything is working. Now what we can do is, instead of putting a manual trigger, you can insert a trigger, a Google Sheet based trigger. So if you click on Google Sheets, there are 3 triggers: on row added, on row updated, and okay, I don't think you can see me because of my bald head. Let me just move it a little bit. Yeah. So on row added, row updated, added or updated. So one of these triggers you can use to make sure that every time there is a change in the cell, the content control, whenever you change it to something like yes, then it gets triggered automatically. You can also do a WhatsApp trigger where you can give it a keyword via WhatsApp, Telegram or Gmail, and it will just start executing right away. It'll create the whole thing, leave it in Google Sheets. There are ways where you can make it even better, where you can link it directly to WordPress or any other portal that you are using, any CMS, so it can upload directly there. For me personally, I like to keep the human in the loop. That's why I'm putting that into Google Sheets, or Airtable is also fine. You can put that in Airtable, because I need to review before approving. If AI is doing 80% of the job, 90% of the job, which is researching, creating, and uploading, the least that we can do is just go through it once, approve it, disapprove it, make changes, make it more customized or human if you want. But for me personally, as a marketer, I will never recommend that you rely on AI for end-to-end processes. A little bit of approval from humans should always be there. So that was about the SEO, the AI powered for AI SEO blog that we just created. I like the process. I like the output as well, especially with Nano Banana. I did not realize how powerful Nano Banana is in terms of the details of the image. Things like putting the logo, when and where, when to remove the brand name, and when to just keep the logo in there. These things are amazing. So I'm impressed by that. I hope you like this workflow. I hope you like this video. If you did, please subscribe, give me a like, it helps. So I'll see you in our next video, where probably I'll do either another unboxing video where we will explore a new platform, new tool, or we can create a social listening tool. I'm thinking between the two. There will be one of them ready to go live in a couple of days or so. So watch out. See you in our next video. Cheers.